If you want results, stop negotiating with your excuses. Every dream you talk about, every goal you write down, every late night promise you make to yourself means absolutely nothing without discipline. Motivation feels good, but discipline changes your life. Motivation shows up when it's convenient. Discipline shows up when it's uncomfortable. And the truth is, your future does not care about how you feel today. It responds only to what you consistently do. Look at your life right now. The results you have are a direct reflection of your daily habits, not your intentions, not your talent, not your potential, your habits. If you're not where you want to be, it's not because you're unlucky. It's because somewhere along the way you chose comfort over commitment. You chose later instead of now. You chose excuses instead of execution. And every time you repeat that choice, you strengthen the wrong muscle. Excuses are addictive. They protect your ego. They give you temporary relief. I'm too tired. I'll start tomorrow. I don't have time. I'm not ready yet. But here's the hard truth. The people who are winning are just as tired. They also feel doubt. They also face fear. The only difference is they don't give those feelings authority over their actions. They move anyway. They work anyway. They show up anyway. Discipline is not about being perfect. It's about being consistent when it's boring. It's about waking up early when no one is watching. It's about practicing when nobody claps. It's about choosing the long-term reward over the short-term comfort. That's where transformation happens, in the quiet moments when you decide to do what's necessary instead of what's easy. You don't need more inspiration. You need structure. You need standards. You need to decide that your goals matter more than your moods. Because once you build discipline, you don't have to rely on motivation anymore. You create momentum, and momentum creates results. So stop waiting for the perfect time. Stop blaming your circumstances. Stop telling yourself stories that make quitting acceptable. Draw a line today. Decide that no matter how you feel, you will act. Small steps, every single day, because discipline compounds. One focused hour turns into skill. One disciplined workout turns into strength. One controlled decision turns into character. If you truly want results, build discipline so strong that excuses don't even feel comfortable anymore. That's the difference between people who dream and people who achieve. And starting today, you get to decide which one you are. If you want results, build discipline, not excuses. That sounds simple, almost obvious. But if it were easy, everyone would be living the life they dream about. The truth is, most people don't fail because they lack talent, intelligence, or opportunity. They fail because they allow excuses to become more powerful than their discipline. And excuses are incredibly convincing. They sound reasonable, they sound logical, they even sound responsible. But at the end of the day, excuses don't build results. Discipline does. Think about your own life for a moment. How many times have you promised yourself that you would start tomorrow? Tomorrow you'll wake up early. Tomorrow you'll start working out. Tomorrow you'll focus on your goals. Tomorrow you'll stop procrastinating. But tomorrow has a habit of never arriving. It keeps moving forward. And while you wait for the perfect moment, time keeps passing. The uncomfortable truth is this: your future does not change when you feel motivated. It changes when you become disciplined. Discipline is not glamorous. It doesn't look exciting on social media. It doesn't come with applause. It is quiet. It is repetitive. It is sometimes boring, but it is powerful. Discipline is choosing to do what needs to be done even when you don't feel like doing it. It's waking up when your body wants more sleep. It's studying when your friends are relaxing. It's working on your dream when no one is watching. That's where results are born, not in moments of inspiration, but in moments of commitment. Look at someone like Cristiano Ronaldo. People admire his trophies, his goals, his fame. But what most people don't see are the years of disciplined training behind the scenes. He wasn't just talented, he was obsessed with preparation. He trained longer than required. He followed strict routines. He maintained discipline with his diet, his sleep, his workouts. Even after becoming one of the best in the world, he didn't relax. He didn't say, "I've done enough." He stayed disciplined, and that discipline separated him from others who were equally talented but less consistent. Discipline doesn't mean you never feel tired. It means you don't let tiredness decide your actions. It doesn't mean you never feel fear. It means fear doesn't stop you from moving forward. Every successful person you admire has felt doubt. They have faced rejection. They have been criticized. The difference is they didn't use those experiences as excuses to quit. They used them as reasons to work harder. Consider Elon Musk. before the success of companies like Tesla, Int, and SpaceX. He faced failures that could have easily become permanent excuses. Rockets exploded, investors doubted him, financial pressure almost crushed his dreams. At one point, both companies were close to collapse. He could have said, "The market is too risky." He could have blamed the economy, competition, or bad luck. Instead, he doubled down on disciplined effort, long hours, relentless focus, a refusal to quit. That is what turned near failure into groundbreaking success. Now, you might say that's them. They are extraordinary, but discipline is not reserved for extraordinary people. It is what makes people extraordinary. It's built in ordinary moments. A student who studies 1 extra hour every day may not feel like a genius, but over months and years, that discipline creates mastery. A person who saves a small amount of money consistently may not feel rich, but over time, that discipline creates financial stability. Results are not explosive events, they are accumulated habits. Excuses, on the other hand, are immediate. They give you instant relief. When you say, "I'll start next week," you feel better for a moment. When you say, "I'm too busy," you protect your ego. When you say, "I'm not ready yet," you avoid risk, but relief is not progress. Comfort is not achievement. Every excuse might feel small, but repeated daily, it becomes a lifestyle. And a lifestyle of excuses guarantees average results. Discipline is a decision you make before the emotion arrives. It is a standard you set for yourself. For example, if you decide no matter what, I will exercise for 30 minutes every day, then when laziness appears, the decision has already been made. You don't debate with yourself. You don't negotiate. You act. That's what discipline looks like. It removes unnecessary thinking and replaces it with action. Think about Michael Jordan. He was cut from his high school basketball team. That moment could have become an excuse. "I'm not good enough. The coach doesn't believe in me. Maybe this isn't for me." Instead, he used it as fuel. He trained harder. He practiced longer. He developed a level of discipline that most people couldn't match. The result wasn't just talent shining through. It was disciplined work transforming rejection into dominance. When you build discipline, you stop depending on how you feel. Feelings are unpredictable. Some days you feel unstoppable, other days you feel drained. If your actions depend on your feelings, your progress will be inconsistent. But if your actions depend on your discipline, your progress becomes steady. And steady progress, over time, becomes unstoppable. Imagine two people with the same goal. Both want to become successful entrepreneurs. The first person works only when inspired. They start projects with excitement but quit when challenges arise. The second person works daily, even when results are slow. They learn from mistakes, they adjust, they persist. After a year, the difference between them will be massive. Not because one was smarter, not because one had better luck, but because one chose discipline over excuses. Discipline is also about self-respect. When you keep promises to yourself, you build confidence. Every time you say you'll do something and you actually do it, you strengthen trust in yourself. But when you constantly break your own promises, your self-belief weakens. You begin to doubt your own words. Discipline repairs that. It tells your mind, when I say I will do something, I mean it. That internal trust becomes powerful. There will be days when progress feels invisible. Days when you wonder if it's worth it. Days when results seem far away. That is the moment where most people quit. They look for quick validation. They want immediate rewards. But discipline understands something deeper. Results take time. Just like a seed planted in the soil doesn't become a tree overnight. Your efforts need consistency before they show visible growth. Quitting early guarantees failure. Staying disciplined guarantees eventual improvement. You don't need to transform your entire life in one day. Discipline starts small. Wake up when your alarm rings instead of snoozing it 5 times. Finish the task you started instead of switching to distractions. Choose healthy food instead of giving in to impulse. These small choices may seem insignificant, but they build the muscle of discipline. And like any muscle, the more you use it, the stronger it becomes. There is something powerful about knowing that your success is in your control. You may not control your background. You may not control your circumstances, but you control your effort. You control your habits. You control your discipline. And over time, that control shapes your results. Excuses blame the outside world. Discipline focuses on the inside world. At the end of the day, your dreams don't respond to wishes. They respond to work. They respond to repetition. They respond to commitment. If you truly want results, you must make a choice to stop negotiating with your weaknesses. A choice to stop justifying your delays. A choice to build discipline so strong that excuses lose their power. Because 1 year from now, you will either look back with pride or with regret. Pride comes from discipline. Regret comes from excuses. The difference between those two futures is not luck. It is not talent. It is not connections. It is the daily decision to act despite discomfort. If you want results, build discipline, not excuses. And start today, not when it's easier, not when you feel ready, not when conditions are perfect. Start now, because the life you want is waiting on the other side of consistent action. The moment to take control of your life is now. Waiting for the right time is the most common trap that keeps dreams locked away, untouched and unfinished. Excuses will always find a way to justify inaction. They will whisper that you're too tired, too busy, too inexperienced, or too unlucky. They will try to convince you that circumstances define your destiny. But the truth is that circumstances are neutral. It is your discipline that turns them into opportunities or obstacles. Every successful person you admire made the conscious choice to act regardless of how they felt, regardless of how convenient or uncomfortable it was. They showed up consistently, not just when inspiration struck, but every single day, in both triumph and trial. And that is the difference between those who dream and those who achieve. Discipline is the bridge between your present self and your future achievements. It is the silent force that compounds every effort into results. 1 hour of focused work, repeated daily, becomes expertise. One disciplined workout, day after day, becomes strength. One small, consistent choice to honor your commitments, even when no one is watching, builds character that no setback can shake. When you embrace discipline, you no longer need to rely on fleeting motivation or convenient conditions. You create a standard for yourself, a code that governs your actions regardless of emotion, fatigue, or fear. That standard becomes your identity. You stop being someone who tries and become someone who does. You stop negotiating with your weaknesses and start mastering them. You stop waiting for opportunities and start creating them. The power of discipline is invisible at first. It doesn't promise instant results, but it is relentless, persistent, and unstoppable. Over time, it transforms ordinary actions into extraordinary outcomes. Every choice you make either builds your discipline or strengthens your excuses. There is no neutral path. Sometimes, the small, consistent efforts you commit to today are the seeds of your future success. The people who are living the lives you aspire to did not get there by chance. They got there by refusing to let excuses dictate their direction. They understood that greatness is forged in the mundane, the repetitive, the uncomfortable, and the challenging. They understood that results are not a product of talent or luck alone, but of relentless action anchored in discipline. So commit yourself fully. Decide today that your goals are non-negotiable, that your effort is unavoidable, and that your discipline will outweigh every excuse. Build the habits, honor the process, and embrace the grind. Let your actions speak louder than your thoughts, and let your consistency create outcomes that words alone cannot promise. Your future self is waiting, shaped by the choices you make today. If you want results, you will build discipline, not excuses. And when you do, there will be no limit to what you can achieve. Start now, persist relentlessly, show up consistently, and watch your life transform in ways you once thought impossible.